Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. This is me driving to work after unloading, I don't even know, 1,000 pounds of concrete out of the back of my truck this morning, and now I'm rushing to work. Tonight is the, I almost called it the TLC, the TNA Lockdown pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling, highlighted most by the good old Lethal Lockdown match. Team TNA against Aces and Eights. I think everybody knows that the Aces and Eights storyline is sort of just watered down, and I think a lot of people are just hoping that it gets over with. There's no real names added to it. I mean, you can add Devon to it and Taz all you want to, and all those guys are watered down TNA guys that really didn't matter in the long run anyways. When I think this started, a lot of people thought it was going to be like the NWO. Yeah, hell, you can even add in Kennedy or Anderson. You know, he's not really anything to TNA anyway. I mean, he's just sort of a guy that's just sort of thrown in there. But it just doesn't make sense to me. It shows how weak Aces and Eights is when you put together a team like Team TNA did, or Team Sting, whatever you want to call it. It's highlighted by Sting. Yeah, he's the leader. But, you know, honestly, Sting is a guy that really, in the long run, you can tell that, you know, 9 months out of the year, he doesn't mean anything to TNA. And then all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, when it's time for Bound for Glory or a big pay-per-view like that, all of a sudden Sting's back in the title hunt, and you look back over his year and you're like, but he hasn't even done anything. You know, why is it that he matters all of a sudden right now? That's my major problem with Sting. Then you have a guy like Magnus, who is, you know, on paper, a guy that looks to be a huge, real big star for TNA sometime in the future. They can build him up right. But like my video that I made yesterday about James Storm, there's no proof that, you know, once they, you know, get the push behind this guy, like they've done for Crimson and James Storm, you know, if it's even going to stick. Because all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, Team TNA, or just the company of TNA, is worse than Vince. You know, Vince pulls the plug on guys for no reason, but Team TNA, they just, they pull it when people want more of them. That's when they take it away and say, no more of this guy for you. You know, and he has a pretty good storyline right now, you know, where he's been together with Samoa Joe, and they broke up, and now they're having a team together on the same team right now, and they don't really trust each other. But Joe is a guy in the last couple of years, honestly, that, you know, TNA's just given up on, and he's just there basically to fill a roster slot. They haven't used him for, I can't even think the last time Samoa Joe had a match, honestly, that really, really mattered. I'm sure someone will bring one up in the comment section when they figure one out. But then, I mean, the team is, you know, evened out by Eric Young. Yeah, I mean, like, it makes sense with the storyline, because a few pay-per-views ago, before Eric Young took his break, Aces and Eights came out and kicked his ass and laid him out, and he was, you know, he's been out for the last, I can't remember the last time we saw him. It's probably been at least 2, maybe even 3 months or more. But I mean, Eric Young is the women's tag team champion with his, I guess you can say, his wife, ODB. If you're a guy holding the Knockouts Tag Team Championship, you do not matter at all for anything. It's just stupid. I mean, like, basically, Eric Young's one of the guys that's been there since day one. So the company probably thinks they owe him something. But honestly, to me, it feels like something was supposed to happen here. Either they're going to sign somebody, bring somebody in, or somebody was going to come around, and they weren't able to do it, and so they just basically threw Eric Young in there. And basically, like the pay-per-view, I believe it was a Turning Point. I can't remember which year, but the main event was going to be Samoa Joe, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. And Scott Hall, you know, felt like he woke up in the morning and felt like Scott Hall, and he no-showed the pay-per-view. And the person that they filled in the slot with was Eric Young. And, you know, the team still won the match. They were putting Joe over at the time, who was the champion. But even when you look at the DVD cover, they didn't even take a new picture of the team. They just, you know, photoshopped the picture of Eric Young and put him on the cover. And you can tell that the guy's scared out of his mind. I don't know really what the picture was from or anything, but it just shows you TNA is TNA, because they didn't even care enough to fix the picture for their DVD cover that was going to be sitting in shelves for people to walk by and buy. You know, even after that, you know, Samoa Joe went on. He kept on being champion. He started some sort of a team with Kevin Nash, even though they were sort of feuding backstage, because after the show, Joe, you know, cut a huge promo against people not showing up, and Nash took some sort of, you know, gripe against that, you know, since he was sort of shooting on his friend. And but I think in the long run, Nash and Joe became some sort of a leadership team. I think Nash turned on him later, but I don't think they even ever had a match out of it. And Eric Young just kept on being Eric Young, scared out of his mind with nowhere to go, even though he was in the main event of a pay-per-view. And that's the same thing, basically, I think they're going to do with here. He'll have this match, he'll be the weak link, and then come Thursday on Impact, he'll be buddying around with ODB again. I don't know. It just, this team just does not seem like a team that should be highlighting basically a War Games match on a TNA pay-per-view. But then again, TNA is TNA. So, peace out.